Well, okay, so on with their predictions here. Let's see. We need to the presidential race. We got the House. The House is up for grabs, and also the Senate. Let's start with the House. How do you see that playing out?
Boy, out here in California, we could flip about three House seats in Orange County. The ones that were stolen last time in the last midterm. They were so close, and it was the ballots that they found later and flipped those seats. Now the Republican Party's got a handle on that. Many people are aware of what's going on. Right now, these guys are ahead. The Republicans are ahead against their opponents. And their opponents seem to be very much like AOC. They're completely out of touch with that community. So we have a possibility of picking up some seats here. People out here are pretty disgusted with what's going on. They really are. I mean, Democrats as well, maybe not hardcore leftists, but, average Democrats are pretty disgusted with Newsom and his rules and his lockdowns and his orders about what you can do for Christmas and Thanksgiving. And, so they very well could flip some seats. I don't know about other states. How many seats do we need to win it back?
Right now, the Democrats have 232 to 197.
Okay, so we need a few. We need quite a few.
Yeah, 36 seats. It looks like now there are 5 vacant seats too. My prediction is that we will gain some seats in the House, but I don't know if it'll be enough to flip it Republican. I would be pretty surprised if we did, because it's so many we have to flip. I'm not saying it's not doable. I mean, if Donald Trump has a tremendous night on election night, that's quite possible.
Yeah.
I would love to see it happen.
Do you think if we don't and Pelosi continues to be speaker, do you think she'll continue to be speaker, or do you think she'll be replaced?
It depends. If she continues to be the puppet to the radical left and do what they tell her to do, yeah, they'll let her stay there. That's an interesting question. I think if they lose the House, definitely she's out, period. She'll never be the speaker again. If they win, I don't know how would they oust her, because she could say,
the thing that I'm concerned about is that the leftists, the Marxist leftists that are, in the House, that are putting a lot of pressure on her for a lot of things. I'm just wondering if they're not just holding back right now, and if they win, they're going to just move in and change everything. I mean, it'll be just like a tsunami that they're going to go in and say, okay, everything's going to change now.
yeah.
I don't know. That's a fear I have, because I know a lot of these far leftist Marxists, they really want results, and they've been sitting on their hands because Bernie Sanders didn't become the nominee, and they've been promised everything, that once we get in here, you guys can take over. So I'm curious whether they would keep her or not put somebody younger, more radical in there.
I think you're right, and I think there's been a civil war going on in the background for the face of the party, particularly in the House, for 2 or 3 years now. Because at the beginning, remember Pelosi had a triff with AOC back in the beginning. She kind of dismissed her, and then Pelosi did not want to go the impeachment route because she knew where it would lead, but yet she was forced to. So, who really has the power in that party? Is it Pelosi, or is it the people like AOC or Oman? We'll find out, I guess.
Well, that's my fear, is that they will go full radical on us.
Yeah.
And Nancy is expendable, because she's old establishment. They're going to dismiss her. The squad, those women, they don't want her there.
Right.
I mean, so many of them don't want her there. And I don't know. I mean, that's why I'm helping a few candidates out that I can to try to win these seats. We got Joe Collins out here against Maxine Waters, which is an uphill battle. But if he could win that, oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
Right. Well, and the other side of that is if they lose the House, or even if they keep the House but Trump wins the presidency, how would the old guard, will they blame the radical leftists for not controlling all three branches of government and try to push back against them? I don't really see that happening, but it's a possibility.
Yeah.
I think the Democratic Party is at warp speed towards radical leftism and socialism, and I'm not sure there's anything that can turn that around right now, regardless of the outcome next week.
Yeah, and for me, I just cannot. I mean, I cannot see this country, the people of this country, buying into that, because so many people are immigrants from countries that they've run away from that. Yeah. Why would they want it?
See, that's where the Republicans have a real opportunity with that issue to start, and I think that's why the same article on Breitbart about the black support has Hispanic support for Trump up in the mid to upper 30s. So the media always figures that, particularly where Hispanics involved, if they vote in lockstep and as a group, and I don't think that's ever been the case. I mean, even George W. Bush got in the low 30s of support among Hispanics. So
right. That's exactly right, because they have a lot of moral values that they identify with the Republicans, right. and the Democrats are not offering any of that. They're not offering safety. They're not offering security. They're defund this, get rid of that.
Right.
I mean, radical this, and I mean, I don't see how that sets well with families and people who are looking out their window at open borders and MS-13 walking into their neighborhoods. I just don't see it.